Welcome in, welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. Come on out, give me a follow out on Twitter at Clinton Bond. Brandon is on this extended, there's no Brandon, it's just Brandon on vacation week. And here we are, we're filling in for him and really doing the work is Adam Emmert once again.
First time ever.
For the first time, for the last time.
Adam is on the what if. Go ahead.
Adam's back at
What If. Feels like my first time.
That's it. The people love.
I'm so honored to have this invite to be here. This has been a dream to appear on this show. So to get to do it for once is I can't even put it into words. Just thank you guys.
You're so welcome. You're welcome here for the first time ever again. And of course, I think everybody knows by now, but it's always worth saying it would not be Seahawkers What If we could not traverse the Seahawks multiverse without the protector of the Seahawks multiverse. And that is Mr. Phil Leidick. Mr. Phil, I want to check in with you real quick. You know, I haven't talked to you since the Redbirds dismantling. How are you feeling after, you know, Kyler did some dumb things and our defense looked really much better? How you feeling?
Exactly how I went. I was how I thought it would go. I was the one thinking we might get 100 total points in that game. So, I mean, it was really close to how I expected that game. Obviously, the multiverse took us in one of the directions I didn't see coming. I must have fell asleep during that viewing, but it was awesome to see so many of us be wrong, including a lot of the things that we said last week, like the defense can't take a step forward. The only way our front seven will get better is the 2023 draft. Was one of the most memorable things I remember from our last show.
Who said that? Who here said that?
That was a pretty good line. It was a pretty good line, but I mean, that was pretty fun. I mean, if we could get some kind of convergence of this defense and the offense that we had the first 5 weeks, and then if the special teams shows up one week, I mean, imagine
that'd be nice,
what this team could be. Yeah,
that'd be super cool if we get all three. Wow, all three functioning in one showing. That'd be super awesome. And Adam,
easy.
Easy. Don't be greedy, right?
Yes, need not greed. Yeah,
maybe we got to go for the meatloaf. The 2 out of 3 ain't bad, and just stick with that for some W's until later in the year. Adam, are you any more convinced than last time we spoke that the defense actually played pretty well?
Absolutely not. I mean, they played great for a game. They played okay for a game. The Cardinals still marched up and down the field, and they actually got some pressure on the quarterback. That's nice. They created a turnover or two. That's nice. That's all nice. That's great.
I'm not ready.
The coincidence? Twice is a trend. 3 times I'll start to believe you. Sure. I mean, I can sit and listen to Nwosu and Diggs and everybody else get up there and be like, oh, this is totally sustainable. This is not, this is got to go on forever. Prove it. I mean, it's just been so bad for 5 weeks and decent for one. It's like, well, okay.
One point to make is it could be Cardinal weirdness, just as you mentioned on the reaction show. The games with the Cardinals are weird. I won't say we didn't play well, though, because I watched a very good Eagles team struggled to play defenses. We held them to 3, and the Eagles are really good. We looked better on defense than the Eagles did against that same team. But until I see the Hawks do it against like a different team, like a non-Cardinal team, it's hard to take anything away from how we play the Arizona Cardinals. I have to say that.
Well, I think that's a very nice segue as we now get into week 7. Insane. Week 7 already. 3-3, tied for first place in the thick of things. And we're about to traverse the multiverse for week 7 versus the Chargers. Before we do that, Mr. Phil has a little section that he calls Previously with the Protector, where I think it's great because very often we're not rewatching the games that the folks we're going to go play, but you go do the homework and you extract some nuggets about what did you see from this coming up, this Superchargers team. Now, for this particular one, I also watched because it was against the dangerous sandwich and the whole thing already. However,
I was gonna say, Clinton, who didn't watch last Monday night as a Seahawks fan?
That's okay. We want Mr. Phil. This is his section, and we want to hear previously from the Protector. So, Mr. Phil, take it away, please.
Well, I almost just crumpled it before we even did the Previously with the Protector. And I mentioned this on the Discord. I'm like, I don't even know if it's worth me getting out the pen and paper, because I'm pretty sure all the diehard Hawk fans watch the Monday night game. A, it's Monday night. B, It was against the Broncos, are the ones that are going to give us our best picks next year.
Mhm.
So, but I went ahead and I threw a couple notes. Probably most people saw. I will mention overall, this Charger team is good, but they're not unbeatable. In fact, they're far from unbeatable. They're 12th by weighted DVOA so far. They have losses to the Chiefs and the Jags. They lost to the Jags 38-10. Wins over the Texans, Raiders, Browns, and Broncos, and 3 of which were by 1 score. So that's not unbeatable by any stretch. Jumping into what we did see this past Monday, the offense, I think we need to watch for some non-wide receivers in the passing game. Their offense is also 12th by DVOA. In fact, I would say, I don't know if this is a good thing for us or a bad thing. They are 12th by DVOA, total offense, defense, all the way around. And we know the number 12 should be a good thing for us. So hopefully it's not a double, I don't know. But anyway, their offense, non-wide receivers in the passing game. Kind of tough to solve their passing game by watching the Bronco game because Mathis on Denver and their DBs fouled so much. You kind of couldn't tell what the wide receivers would have done with real honest defense. And there were so many penalties that those yards wouldn't show up. So that was a little tricky. The pass pro for the Chargers isn't awesome, and their left tackle that would be starting Slater's out on IR.
Yep.
Number 30, we saw Eckler does everything. I mean, he's good at it all. He's good at running. He's good at receiving. He's good at screens. His pass pro is decent. That's the one to watch for. Herbert has a killer arm, but he's uneven right now, and I think it could be from fighting injuries. Yards were tough for them to find against what we know to be a good Donkey defense as a whole. GE, who we kind of miss here, he's still the man. He's a man beast. And Parham is 6'8", also a good pass catcher, but he's not a good blocker. He's good. Both those guys can be dangerous in the passing game. Palmer, their receiver number 5, is a tough, kind of an AJ Brownish kind of guy that you got to watch for. Herbert, he's a bit reckless sometimes, and he'll give you some chances for picks. If you watch any of their games, there's going to be some cracks to get a pick. Their fans were really dumb. Did you notice that? They were screaming on offense, or is it just there's no such thing as a Charger packed house? Maybe there was a lot of Donkey fans there. I don't know, but yeah. What?
Did you not only see the Chargers fans, but the Denver fans when the Charger fans were screaming when it was 3rd down and they were on defense, and then all the Broncos fans screaming at the same time too, just caught up in the energy.
It was a dumb
Like, so, I mean, if the Charger fans are dumb. Well, I mean, I guess it goes without saying. Broncos fans are catfish stupid. So, yeah.
It was weird. Special teams, their returner Carter, seems like he could be dangerous, and I've heard that he can as a returner. Fairly judicious. They looked kind of sloppy in kick coverage, and hopefully they're not good at punt rush. I'll just say that. Their defense, the Chargers defense is good on the edge and in the wide areas. Again, this 12th by weighted DVOA. They always do well, Oda, in those wide areas. I don't know if you're going to get around them as much. They can definitely be pushed in the run game down the middle, though. So this will be something new for us to watch a little bit. Some very fancy pass rush calls in key moments. They have some exotic stuff that kind of hits you suddenly. Hopefully Gino and them are ready for that. They started poorly against the Donkey tight ends, but Russ seemed to fix the problem for him, so he helped him out there. Number 52 on defense, K-Mac, is a disruptive and difficult player. He may be getting up in age, but he's still very difficult. They did leave some guys wide open a few times. Are their safeties poor in zone? I tried to watch enough to. It seems like their safeties in zone coverage weren't catching the guys coming through. So maybe that's going to be a good thing for Tyler. The result, of course, we saw they won in overtime, but it seemed more having to do with Russ failing than the Chargers winning. That's what I took from that game, and kind of a little bit of an overall of the Chargers. Anything else? I know Adam often sees things that we might have missed.
It's a pretty good recap overall. The Chargers themselves are an underachieving team this year. Yeah. I think they have far more talent than what shows up on tape week in and week out. And whether that's the defense not playing up to snuff overall, especially the secondary, they've given up a ton of points this year and have kind of struggled. Now, their pass rush, just like you talked about, Phil, they've got some good exotics. They've got Khalil Mack. I mean, it sounds like Bosa is still a no-go, correct? With the grind.
Yeah, he's still out on IR. Yeah.
Okay. Even still, man, like they whipped the crap out of Russ in that game. I mean, they hit him often. Their pass rush looks a little terrifying. The offense is just not what you would expect. It just really isn't in terms of its explosiveness and consistency. And a lot of people point fingers at Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, for that. I mean, he was the guy that got canned in Carolina before Matt Rule got canned. He was the offensive coordinator for Joey Burrow down at LSU, but not really getting it done in the pros. And you can see it's a lot of either kill shots or checkdowns. They really don't work the mid routes all that often. I mean, they do it now and then, especially with that Palmer kid. I like him a lot, but yeah, it's a team that on paper I should feel very afraid of, but in practicum, I'm like, okay, this is doable. We can do this.
Okay. Clinton, anything to add on that before I wad up the previously and we go with the what if theme?
No, let's hop into the theme because I think we'll get to it all. We'll get to the good stuff, but I do want to remind folks that if they're out there on watching this on YouTube, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast, please give a subscribe, give a like, drop a comment, do all those things, hit the bell. That'd be awesome. And just, spread the Hawkra. Get this out to other people. You get this on any audio platform. We're doing 5 shows a week, this being one of them. Just at Seahawkers Pod on Twitter. Just follow, subscribe, share the Hawkra. It's a special season. Hang out with buddies. Get in the flock.com, become a member, and let's have some fun together. And Mr. Phil, let's have some fun together, man. Let's see what do you got, dude? What do you got?
Here goes previously with the protector. We will move into our theme here. We face the Bolts this week. So what if lightning actually strikes? What if lightning strikes will be our theme, and it won't be thunder and lightning. I always wonder why you call it thunder and lightning. Doesn't the lightning have to happen before the thunder? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, no thunder and lightning, no lightning in a bottle, no lightning bug, no lightning rod, no white lightning, no lightning conductor or grease lightning. Instead, you want to guess? What do we got, Clinton, on these? You want to guess?
No, lightning rod.
Lightning rod is not there.
Dang.
Do you have a guess, Adam?
No, I'm terrible at those sort of things. Nope. You lay it on me,
Okay.
Phil. Because
Lightning crashes. Lightning crashes.
Cool.
Lightning never strikes twice in the same place. And ride the lightning. I thought somebody might guess that one.
Nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
So, lightning crashes, episode 35, which means we start with Brandon. He's not here. We start with Adam. We start with Adam on lightning crashes. What if, Adam, what if the Chargers are pounding us in the run game? Who will be to blame if they are crashing our run stopping party that we're trying to carry over from last week? Obviously, Kyler ran, but we held their running backs pretty well. Who will you expect is to blame if the Chargers are pounding us in the run game this week, Adam?
Clint Hurt. I mean, at some point, he's got to start taking some heat for an inconsistent defense. And if they are getting it jellied right down their throat again this week, then I think we have to look at him. I mean, you either got to simplify things, or they talked a little bit about allowing guys to kind of crash gaps a little quicker, maybe not two gapping as much as a defensive player, just taking one gap and going and playing a little faster. And they all seem to think that was the difference. If they go away from that, or that doesn't work again, because it shows up on tape once, then, Clint's going to have to adjust. So I at some point here, I have to think that, Clint's got to take a little bit of heat for this new scheme and everything he's trying to implement. So far, it's all gone on personnel, and he's kind of gotten a pass. So that'd be my fall guy at some point here. I'd be surprised if it wasn't him sooner than later.
How about you?
But also to your point, Phil, you said lightning and thunder, like one comes before the other. False. They both come at the exact same time. It just depends on how far away you are. So from your perspective, if you're miles away, the thunder comes second, right? But if you are right where the lightning strike, yeah, man, it's at the exact same moment.
Because light moves quicker than sound, so you see than you hear. But I thought the thunder was the sound of the lightning cracking through, but they both come at the same time, huh?
Well, it's the sound of the air molecules splitting from the electrical current. And so, it's the sound of the lightning. That's what thunder is.
Seems like it's lightning and thunder, but okay. I'll take your point. Well taken.
if you're in the same exact point in time,
Yes.
then it arrives the same time. And if you're away, then it's gonna take a little longer for the sound to get there. I think.
If you hear it and see it, that could be bad for your deal, right?
Yes,
You're having a bad day.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are. Yeah, you are officially into a different multiverse. If that has happened to you, most.
So if
likely.
lightning crashes into the Seahawks run game this week, Clinton,
Yeah.
what do you see?
Yeah,
So,
whose fault?
yeah,
Where are you going to lay the
fault?
blame?
Whose fault? Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about trenches, or at least I did on 3 and 3 out, which I had to ride Han Solo this week. Was happy to do it. I think I got to go there, right? I think it's we saw some great we saw a lot of good stuff, man. We saw us being quicker. We saw Monet pushing people back. We saw Q Jeff. We saw folks slanting in earlier.
We saw less Cody.
We saw less Cody, but then when Cody had to go do his thing, he was better. And we saw Brooks probably have his best game, one of his most tidiest games so far. So I'll just go right to the front line and say, if we're getting got, it'll be right in that Monet Puna wheelhouse right there. I think that's where it's got to go. Got to go lie down, because I don't think what I've seen from like Mafe he's been really solid. And now they're starting to like rotate Taylor in. He's in less, and maybe with the more effective Adam. We talked about it. Like, could this be scheme? And you're like, no, it ain't scheme. Like, I don't know, man. It could be a little bit of scheme. The players are saying it is. But I think Mafe's doing really well on the edge. I think he's doing a great job. So I think if we get got, it's going to be right dead center, and we're going to be sitting there missing Al Woods if he's out for the second week, which I was surprised about last week. I love Al Woods, but he was not missed. Monet played his best game of the year. So if
Captain Thiarms is back this week, isn't he?
I
am I
hope
wrong?
so. I hope Captain Thiarms is back. I hope he is. I welcome him back. But I think if we're getting hit up, man, I think it's gonna be right dead center, because I think Brooks and Barton have now found their way back home a little bit. So I don't think it's gonna be on them. So I think it's gonna be straight up. Are we getting blown off the ball? I don't think we will, by the way. But if we are, that's where I think we're gonna be pointing the fingers.
Okay. So a different part of it, go the other side of the ball on lightning crashes. This one starts with Clinton. What if Geno is getting crashed into by this creative Chargers pass rush? We've kind of teased that a little bit. This pass rush. How do you recommend our offense should adjust if the game starts out first few drives? It seems like Geno's really getting crashed into. What kind of adjustments you think we should have on the table, Clinton?
Yeah. So this one, I think I could talk with a little more specificity than the first one, because what I saw in the rewatch of the Cardinals game was Damian Lewis getting beat on a lot of stunts and twists and just the little things you do to try to blitz or create space between the center and the left guard. He was getting got. Cross would pass his guy off, and Lewis was kind of too slow to engage the guy that was coming across his bow. It was causing a lot of problems. And then you go watch what the Chargers did with the Broncos, and they're bringing that dude Tranquil up the gut, like A gap, A and B blitzes. And you said it earlier, they bring some exotic blitz packages, and they bring the heat. So helping that side is probably where we go to. Now, is Homer back yet? Is that the rumor?
No.
I think you still got one more week on the IR. All right, at least
he can
all
practice next week. Coach said today.
Okay, because he would help the punt team as well if he could be back. Bleeding to the left-hand side, I think a little bit, just lending some hand over there. The thing is, I don't know if DJ Dallas is just as good or ineffective or better or worse than I thought. Walker was okay back there this time, picking up, doing his best, not what he was known for at Michigan State. But I think overloading the left-hand side and giving a little bit of help over there, Damian Lewis looked exposed to me, and I don't know why, but that is where I think we got to lend the biggest support. That's my take at this moment.
How about you, Adam? What kind of adjustments if Geno's getting crashed into? How do you hope they could fix it?
Yeah, I think Clinton actually did some great film study there, because when you really do break down that game, most of the pressure did come from the left-hand side, and the reaction show, I put a lot of it on Cross, right? Just first blush. And I said, hey, man, going back and rewatching it, let's see what that looks like. And Clinton's spot on. A lot of that was those games being played by the defensive linemen and stunts and things like that between Cross and Lewis. Now, whether that's a communications thing, I don't know that is a problem. Whether it's a physical talent thing, could be as well. But yeah, they're going to need to do something to help them in pass pro, because we did see that we don't get MVP when he's getting heated up a little bit.
Yeah.
And
I mean, who?
no, I mean, that's true for almost any quarterback, right? So, I mean, I'm not blaming him or killing him for it. I'm just saying that we want to get the best and the most efficient game out of Geno. We need to be sure to shore up that pass protection on the left-hand side. I think one way that they could really do that is we could see a lot more of the Bob Saget backfield, the full house backfield. Like I could definitely see them bringing the two tight ends in with the back, and that kind of almost like little wishbone thing
Pistol,
that they do
diamond,
back there.
whatever they call it, right?
Yeah, it's just really interesting, but it's also very versatile in the idea that when the Chargers do run a lot of those exotic blitzes and you don't know exactly where it's coming from, you do have that extra guy that is able to read and react rather than just chipping with a tight end to one side or the other. I think maybe that full house formation there could just be the ticket.
Uncle Jesse, Mary Kate, and Ashley, get them all out there. That's our best shot. Maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Uncle Jesse
All
will
right.
charm their pants off.
Sure will. Sure will. Look at that hair.
Okay. Next category. Lightning never strikes twice in the same place. That's probably also a fallacy, but the odds are what make this true, right? Isn't that what it is, Adam? It's not that the Lightning can't re-hit, it's that the odds make it not happen. Since we know you're our expert on Lightning in the show.
And Thunder.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
well, I
also
mean,
the Thunder.
You could just expand that to all things atmospheric if you'd like.
Okay.
Just being an expert in so many fields, it's hard to just take it down to just that one thing. But yes, it is, because it is not impossible, but unlikely. And also too, you got to talk about too, what's the time quotient here? Are we talking over 1 million years?
Right.
Yeah.
Are we talking over 5 minutes? Because that makes a big difference too.
Does too.
Lightning
Okay.
doesn't strike twice. And this one was actually easy for me. The Seahawks coming out and playing great run defense and not getting killed. I am not sold. I just am
Okay.
not.
You're ready for this. You're ready to go for the what ifs on what might not happen. I was going to say Lightning did strike twice if you just asked Michael Dixon, because it seemed like something that never happens. We had it 2 weeks in a row, but Lightning never strikes twice. You're gonna let
one
me
of the
ask a question?
commenters made a nice comment on one of our last videos. I can't remember which show, but just being like, that's not Dixon's fault, that one. And he's not wrong. I mean, it wasn't Dixon's fault, but it did happen to him. But yeah, I don't think the Lightning is going to strike twice for the run defense. I think it's going to be another struggle fest against Eckler, and it could be another shootout.
Okay. Well, here we go, Adam. What if our electrocuted punt team can stop being zapped by lightning? Oh, no, that's not the question. But how can our special teams begin to improve in this game? What kind of steps can they take? Obviously, you nailed the Myers. What if Superhawk last week? He was king. But how can our special teams start to make some differences or not put us in such bad situations? You got any thoughts about the special teams? We don't have to spend a long while here, but maybe something's come to mind, Adam.
Yeah. So you know what they can do on punt protection? They can just do it normal. They don't need to do the rollout punts. They don't need to seal look like I heard from Belor from last game where they changed the protection. Just play it normal. Just have your 5 guys out there, put a guy as the personal protector, and just watch it go down. And if there's an extra guy coming through, block him, and then punt the ball away. It's really that simple. I just want them to stop being so freaking cute on punt protection. That's it. It's simple. This is simple stuff.
We had a dude with one hand, the punt protector, for a while, and we didn't have this problem. Do you remember that? I don't get it.
Yeah.
How about you, Clinton? What do you got on this? How can our punt team, our special teams overall, how can they begin to improve or start to be a winning side for us instead of a losing aspect?
Yeah, I'll go to a different part of special teams because I think Adam nailed that, and no point in repeating that, but like exactly, don't get cute. You don't have to, just do it well enough. Remember when Brian Walters, right? That was his name. He just fair caught it. And for that year, it wasn't about being cute. It was about not turning it over. We need to do the Brian Walters of punt protection. Don't be cute. just get the Brian Walters out there and just freaking block it normal.
He's a
so
radio guy now. Brian
good
Walters.
for him. That we should have him on. Very nice. To improve, I would still like to see, it was cool. Last week we saw DJ Dallas returning punts, and we saw D. Eskridge get a couple of chances. Not really, but he was back there to return kickoffs. I don't think he actually returned a kickoff. I think they all sailed into the end zone. My memory serves me. I'd still like to see D. Eskridge return punts. I get the most dynamic, quickest, fast twitch guy who can catch.
Which is Tariq Woolen. Yeah.
Well, okay. Not him on special teams, right? Get the dude you wouldn't be crippled if he went down with a hammy returning a punt. I won't say anything worse because I don't want to bring the bad juju on. But let's get it's cool that the trust was evolved for D in the fact that he had his most yards ever as a receiver, 39 yards, 3 key receptions. He only had 13 snaps, but he was more effective and more involved. He was back on kickoff return. Now let's up-level the trust one more level, Pete. Let's see him on punt return because
DJ went to punt return, right?
And he did fine. He caught the ball. He moved up on one when he should have and caught it like on the run. He did nice. I want to see a dude who can bring it to the house, and that's D. Eskridge. That'd be my improvement.
Okay, Clinton, on the second half of Lightning Never Strikes Twice in the same place, what if the Hawks defense can find a way to keep Herbert ineffective? They may not strike twice and get 6 sacks again, but how do you see them defending him well? I mean, might not be a full blast of lightning twice, but can we make Herbert ineffective in some kind of way, Clinton, and be happy with our defense after Sunday?
Yes, and it might be kind of like, I forget what question was last week where I was like, oh, it's actually more about Kingsbury than it is Kyler. Herbert's a way better talent than Kyler. He's a better quarterback. With that, when I watched the Broncos game, I didn't see a vertical game. Like, now, is that just because Keenan Allen's not there? Therefore, they could just target Mike Williams and like take away Mike Williams.
The Broncos have safeties.
Sure, but so do we. We got safeties. We got safeties. We got good corners too, right? So, I didn't see a big time vertical game. So I don't know if it's just it's the matter of let the Chargers do what they were trying to do against the Broncos. Like, I didn't see much of a vert game, and I really wonder if it's super, super tied to them missing the straw that stirs the drink in Keenan Allen. And is he back? I think he's a wonderful wide receiver. I think he's a big time difference maker.
He's like 50-50 right now for this game, isn't he?
Exactly. And if you get a dude out there who's 50-50, very often they're not that effective week one when they are back. It's a dude you might be like, if you're playing fantasy, like, I don't know if I want to play Keenan Allen. He's just barely back. So I know that's not much of an answer, but it's as much as like, let them stay to the sidelines. And, if they want to do the nickel and dime stuff and they want to rack up Everett with 6, 7, 8 catches, like they did with Zach Ertz, right? Who hit that prop. So be it. I don't know if they can get vertical. Let's put it this way. Mike Williams is not beating Tariq Woolen downfield. He ain't. He's not getting open, like not in that way. He doesn't have the burst to create separation. So I'm not scared that way. Let's see how healthy Keenan Allen is. Let them attack to the sides and attack the underneath crap and tackle really well. And that might be enough to be like, all right, well, Herbert ended up 21 for 30 for 242 yards and a touchdown. Okay. I'd sign right now for that stat line on Herbert, right? So that might be it, man. Just kind of let them replicate what they put the crap out of the Broncos last week. They didn't move the ball well.
Adam, do you have a how for us? How we can keep Herbert ineffective this week?
Yeah, it's not going to look as good as the Broncos made it look because they have a very talented defense that might be one of the top 3 in the league right now. I mean, they do play very well, and Surtain is a unbelievable shutdown corner. I mean, he is good. If he's not the best, he's right there. It will be interesting to see the wide receiver matchup against.
But DK is not afraid. DK is not afraid of Surtain. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, of course he's not. If I was a walking bat suit, I wouldn't be afraid of anything either. But the thing about it is that Keenan Allen was 50-50 to play this week. I'd be surprised if he doesn't come out and play this game. Now you'd say, well, if we can just get Woolen on him, we'll be fine. But they're not going to have Woolen travel. Like
No,
he's still locked into that right corner spot. So I would see them try to, if Keenan Allen comes back, bring him to the opposite side of wherever Woolen, on the defense right side, go to the opposite side there and match him up with either Michael Jackson or Kobe or whoever it is that they're going to run out there on the left side. So I think the key is if Keenan Allen comes back, you're going to have to bracket him. You're going to have to be very cognizant of him. And then I think they're going to have to play a lot of press man, be really close up to the line of scrimmage, make it difficult for them in the short passing game, because Herbert goes to that a lot, or they did at least against the Broncos, and being able to recognize screens quickly and little slants and things like that, I think is a big deal. So I would like to see him play it very tight, because just like Clinton said, they didn't have a lot going on downfield. And I think really that only downfield threat that they have is Keenan Allen. If he plays, just bracket him, play up close to the line of scrimmage, let the chips fall where they may.
And neither of you guys mentioned pressure. Are you not expecting much from our pressure this week? You think the 6 was a total blip on a radar? Like it's never going to happen? Okay.
No, I'm on the opposite end of that. I don't think it was a blip. I don't think the Chargers line's that good. I think it's okay. It's okay. No, I think it's going to be, I think we're going to steadily see, I'm not saying 6 a week, but I think we're steadily going to see that we're going to get more consistent pressure. And that's going to
We got a lot of pressure with sending 4.
Yeah.
Or even 3 a little.
There was a lot of times where like Q Jeff almost got there. Nuoso almost got there. Taylor almost got there. In addition to all those dudes getting there and 3 other guys, right? We had 6. So no, I do expect some pressure. I don't think it's like an extra. I just think we're getting better at defense, and we will bring some pressure. I don't think it's going to be like the all day Jared Goff scenario that the Detroit game was. Like, I think we were talking after that game, like, did Goff get dirty? What do you have, one sack?
Their line is good. Oh, the Lions, I thought they had a good line.
Lions do have a good line. They do. But I think we're going to be able to move Herbert off his spots. He's still very good. He'll complete some stuff that like you're pissed off. It's the play where you're pissed. Like, we did everything right. And 22-yard completion. That will happen because he's good. And with what you said, Phil, earlier, is he'll take his shots. He will throw balls up that are ill-advised also. So I'm bullish that we will disrupt him just as part of the game, just not in the game plan, just as like our defense improving. I think we'll get good pressure, decent pressure.
And one more quick follow-up, Adam. Did you like the Denver extra handsy, overly physical strategy? Do you like, who cares how many illegal contacts and pass interference we get? We're just not going to let the receivers feel like they're catching anything out there. Do you like that? Just shove them and grab them the whole way? It seemed like it held them down on points.
Yeah. I like physical play out of your corners. Now, I don't know that it was any more or less than what the Seahawks play with any single game. I honestly, who was the kid that got the 4 PIs?
Mathis. It was his first start. Yeah, it was his first start.
Yeah, it was his first start and all that. 2 of those were horse crap.
Right. Exactly.
They were garbage calls from the officials. He couldn't have played better defense. I kind of felt bad for the kid. But, when you're cursed, you're cursed. So there's not a lot you can do about it.
It even gets into the ref's head. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if Russ has decided that he's abandoning his trademark catchphrase.
Everybody wants to know, Adam, what does it mean? He didn't say it. Are they still cursed?
Yes. I made the curse a year-long curse. I said it when I breathed it into existence. Like, just because Russ wants to try to, take it off the table, the power's not in his hands. It's in my hands. It's in your hands. It's in Clinton's hands. It's in our combined Hakra from all of the little flockers. It's in our hands. Would we like to let it go? I don't think so.
No.
Okay. That's what everybody wanted to know. They didn't listen. They're going to listen in to find that out. Last category. How about we ride the lightning? Here we go, Adam. What if K9 can keep up this electric start to his career? What are the next steps we should see from the offense? If K9 is all he looks like he could be, what are we going to be seeing from this offense, Adam?
Look, man, if the Ken Walker stuff can go from -1 in -1 runs and then 60-yard runs to 4 to 5 to 7-yard runs and then 30-yard runs, like just a little more consistent rather than the boom and bust that we kind of saw, which I think is completely doable. I
Okay.
really do. I think as he gets more and more comfortable, finding his keys and watching his blocks in the running game, he is going to get more and more consistent when he gets there. When the bad plays are 2 to 3 yard gains, this offense will be unstoppable. It'll
Yeah.
be literally unstoppable. And I'm telling you, I am so excited about Kenneth Walker and what he's going to bring to this offense through the remainder of this season. I am just giddy. As much as I don't buy the defense turnaround quite yet, I can't wait to be proved wrong. I am all freaking in on this offense continuing to get better and better. And I think it's going to have a lot to do with the tackles gaining experience and K9 getting his experience down and being able to key off his blocks better. It's going to be unbelievable.
How about you, Clinton? If K9 is this good as we think he might be, what will it mean for this offense? Kind of the canvas has been whitened, as you like to do. Paint us a picture of the future if K9 is as good as we think he is for the whole offense.
Yeah, it's funny. I find myself very on the opposite end of Adam's feelings of like coming and going here. Like, two ships passing in the night, in the sense that I thought our run blocking was bad this last game. Like Kenneth Walker made stuff out of nothing. His lateral, so him as a running back, lateral movement, unreal. How low he gets to the ground, but still somehow like he retains balance, but he's got dudes on skis. Dude, just some special stuff, like special trait stuff. But I thought our run back blocking was piss poor. It was not good. Sans a couple of plays, and then by the way, when he gets a couple of plays with a little bit of daylight, watch out. Like he's gone, right? So really, really interesting. So I think we're gonna go as good as our run blocking goes, because we're gonna hit some other teams that are even better than the Chargers and others that back to the Niners who literally could if we poorly run block can dictate the game. They will win the trenches if we can't run block better. So like my brain and my heart goes to just trying to see whether it's Gabe Jackson, Phil Haynes, D-Lou, Blythe. I think the tackles and the tight ends, I think they do an admirable job for the most part. And they create enough space, and Walker's gone. But just that up the gut, I don't think we're run blocking very well at the last. I don't know. It's not there for me, man. So you could have Barry Sanders back there and still not make the playoffs, right? Because that happened a lot in Barry Sanders' career, because he was on some crap teams, though he was the most magical back I've ever seen run the damn ball. So Phil, I'm not sure if that answers the question. I was just so like, I'm so in an opposite end of like, I really want to see better run blocking, because I think incrementally better run blocking will unlock Walker. And that, to Adam's point, that unlocks the offense. Like we are lights out. This is a good offense. Also, it gives Geno more time when they can honor the option game more.
Sure.
Right now, like last week, I saw a lot of times where players were in the backfield and the run option had no effect because they were on it. Whether they got it whether they did hand it off or Geno kept it, good luck. They were on Geno in a hot second. So with all that, I'll just end and say, like, I need some better run blocking from our interior dudes before I get like to that next level of fired up that Adam is now at. I want to be where he's at, and he wants to be where I'm at with the defense, and maybe we'll meet in the middle somehow.
Go ahead, Adam.
I'm just really stunned by this, because I feel like, Clinton, you're one of the smartest humans I've ever come across, and yet I think you are suffering from recency bias in the worst possible way this week. I mean, the defense looked good for a game finally, and you're like, yeah, no, they've got it turned around. And then the offensive line, who's looked really good this entire season until last week, you're like, nope, they can't run block anymore. It's all over. Like, I don't quite understand that. And not only that, but like, why would you give the benefit of the doubt to a bunch of guys on defense who haven't done it consistently for 3 freaking years now, when you've got the 2 dudes on the inside who, in Gabe Jackson, has been a Pro Bowler and a great run blocker throughout the course of his career. And then you've got Dame Lou, who's been a good run blocker throughout the majority of his career. Why would you think that those 2 guys can't get it figured out? But yet you're going to put your hat on a new scheme that we haven't seen work great for all but 2 games over 6 weeks, and a bunch of guys who are just starting to figure it out. Like, I'm just perplexed by that.
I can answer. So to the defensive side, I was praising and talking about green shoots even when we were giving up 39, even when we were giving up 45. I'm like, hey, there's good stuff here, but the bust plays have got to go. And I realized that I realized they're hard to parse. But you know, I was pretty steadfast in my belief that the fundamentals and the foundation of how we were playing defense was incrementally getting better. And then I think it showed out last week in a proper way. I think we'll continue to see that. And again, San Diego or the Chargers, LA, they are better than the Cardinals. So we'll see to what effect. The other side of it is, besides the bust plays, meaning Penny going off for 60 or Walker going off for 69, I thought there was also lots of times where we didn't run block exceptionally well. I thought our yards per carry looked good. So they were over 5 a carry because, you know, we had the big ass plays, 30, 40, 50-yard chunk plays. And that was like talent. Yeah, maybe they blocked it well for a series or a run or 2. And then we got the dudes who could explode, who could take it to the house. And that skews the average the other way. So I never thought the run game was quite as good as it showed out. And I never thought the defense was quite as bad as it was showing out. Right. So I'm just kind of I'm in this little middle there where I want it all, but I think I'm right.
These are all fair points. All right. Next question on Ride the Lightning. This one goes to Clinton. What if the Bolts are bringing the storm to us? Which Chargers players do you most expect to go off against us? And then how can the Hawks ride the storm out? What players are you concerned about? How can we handle it if somebody starts to go off, Clinton?
Yeah, so I'm going to stick to the Chargers defensive side of the ball. I think that's where, because you know, bring it to us that way could be them bringing the noise or bringing the hammer.
Either way, somebody going off against us on defense or offense, sure.
Yeah, and it's just, this is recency bias. This is watching that Monday night game and being like, whoa, like they create pressure up the middle, they manufacture it, and they're dedicated to it. And then you look around, and you've got. The thing is, like, they have the cover ability, or at least they should. You said a lot before, like on paper, you got Derwin James, you got Asante Samuel Jr., you got JC Jackson, right? Like on paper, they should be sticky and covering really well, which enables them to be ballsy, right? Send the extra linebacker, send 5 dudes, send 6 dudes. We've seen that with the fact that, you know, Geno is not Superman when he is blitzed. And again, too, I think whoever said it earlier, nor are 95% of the quarterbacks in the league. It's hard. There's a reason you blitz. It makes the quarterback's life hard. Geno did very well to get out of some of those, get the ball out, scramble, convert first downs to D. Eskridge and DK late in the game. With all that, that's where I'm fearful, man, is like, I think the Chargers can cover because they had the talent to. I think they're going to blitz. I think they're going to manufacture a lot of pressure. I think a lot of the game offensively is going to I think Geno is going to look like he did against Arizona way more than he did versus Detroit. And that's not Geno being bad or better. That's the situation dictating that he's got to make some decisions or holds the ball a little too long every now and again. And his numbers are not quite as gaudy because they're not allowed to be. So that's what I'm fearful of, Mr. Phil.
So how do we ride the storm out? If that's the same fear you have, Adam, or do you want to go in a different direction, or how do we ride that out if they're coming at us so well on the pass rush?
Yeah. So to a couple of Clinton's points that I think were pretty solid. I mean, number one, the idea that we were going to get the first 5 weeks of Geno Smith for the rest of the season, like, it felt unlikely. And so we saw him, quote, come back down to earth in the last game against the Cardinals, which was just pretty damn good. So, right. If he has that same sort of struggle fest that he had against the Cardinals, which he was pressured as much as Russ was against the Chargers this last game,
exactly.
and still and still is able to get to the guys that aren't necessarily the stars on the team. And you heard him talk about it in the press conference. He was saying, well, look, man, you take away DK and Tyler, good on you. We've got other dudes and I can get it to them. And he proved it in the last game. So I think he has the ability to do it. Secondly, the thing about the Seahawks offensive line up the middle, it's much better than the Broncos offensive line up the middle. Their center is maybe the biggest train wreck in all of the NFL. And they just exploited that just time after time after time throughout that game. Their center and left guard. I was speaking with a Denver podcaster just last night, and man, he has nothing good to say about the interior of their line. I mean, he thinks they're the hottest garbage that's ever walked the earth.
But
so
Adam, I was assured that Russ was not going to be touched this year. I was
exactly.
told Russ was not going to be touched. So how
he was going to a team with so much better surrounding talent. I mean, we talked about it on the flagship show before the Broncos game, and went down the roster and got made fun of by Broncos fans, right? And now I look at it and like they're telling me all about how much better the receiving core is. Well, the other thing that the Seahawks have an advantage of up against this Charger team that the Broncos did not have, the Broncos drop passes right and left.
Yeah.
Like their receivers drop. No, they didn't have a ton of drops in the Chargers game, but Geno can get to the guys and they're actually going to catch it. So I'm not too concerned about the offense getting to 20 to 27 points. I think that's something that's totally doable. What I'm terrified of is Eckler. I can just see him just terrorizing this defense. We're terrible at stopping screens. He's a master at them. Yeah. We haven't stopped the run worth a darn except for last week. He could tear him up. He is such a powerful running back and is shifty. I am terrified of Eckler. If he gets going at that point, good luck, because then it just opens everything up for Herbert, and now we're in a track meet.
Sure. That's one of the ones I was concerned about. The other question I had, I won't go into the whole question, but because you kind of already went there. If the Bolts implement a similar strategy against our wide receivers like the Cards did you have any ideas, either of you guys, for adjustments that might transfer the zapping them back? You know how if you get zapped, you grab somebody else and you can zap them back? You know, is there a way? Yeah. Is there a lightning tag? Yeah. Is there a way if the Bolts go out and do that same thing, they double bracket? Like, do you see some adjustments maybe that could have been better made that Waldron might have missed? Clinton, or did you guys have any of those?
Yeah, I think we did see it. We started to see it last week, and Adam was alluding to how Geno brought that up specifically in the press conference, right? So we saw lots of Noah Fant. Noah Fant had plenty of touches. And then if you look at, I kind of look at D. Eskridge and Marquise Goodwin as one thing. I realize they're not. I realize they're, it's not Superman Clark Kent, and I realize they're on the field at the same time. But functionally, like, who cares? In a system, they serve the same purpose very often, right? And if you combine them as a third wide receiver last week, what were they? 5 or 6 receptions, 70 or so yards total. Like, that is, I think, how you can zap back. And we did, in fact, because later in the game, sure, DK didn't have big numbers, but later in the game, when we needed to move it, D Eskridge gets a first down. The very next play, it's a strike to Metcalf for 14 yards. Later in that drive, it's a strike to Lockett to move the chain. And then Ken Walker is dancing into the end zone on that particular drive. So I think in a nice way, Phil, it did loosen that up that way. It got us back to, we could get back to our stars by using these wide receiver 3 combinations. So, I would love nothing more to shut down the Creed Humphrey talk for once and for all, and showcase that D. Eskridge was a darn good pick. We're still gonna do some more to earn that, but that's what I want. That's what I want.
The offense wasn't bad last week. We had 5 scoring drives. We just were bad in the red zone. Really, right. If you add 8 points to that total, it was decent. If you got half of those field goal drives were touchdowns, it wasn't that bad. And one other thing Geno did when they started double bracketing is he started running a little bit. He's like, hey, if they're going to put 2 guys above my guys, nobody's got me. So that was another thing that he got to figure out on his own.
He was timely with that. He was good at that. He could gallop, man. He's got surprisingly, he's still pretty darn fast, man. He gets there.
I guess we got to wrap it up here. So we'll get to our final section here. Last week, Clinton nailed the score differential exactly. He had the win, and Adam had it by 9, but Clinton had it by 10. So he's inch closer, trailing the combination of Brandon, Adam, the childhood friend podcasters. He's now down 2-3. 2-3. Adam hammered the wish with Myers kicking the aforementioned 4 for 4 on the field goals. So, final bid here. We start with Adam this time. Predict your what if Super Hawk and your score, Adam.
Well, I would say that my what if Super Hawk, again, he's kind of the wish, right, is for Ken Walker to have himself a game. You talk about how to get guys out of double bracketed coverage on, both of your receivers. Get 4 to 5 yards per carry with consistency and impunity. And you saw the Broncos do that towards late in the game. And the Chargers gave him primarily single high looks, and Russ started taking one-on-one kill shots, right? So that's how you do it. That's one of the ways. Plus, he's your tight end. So Ken Walker, man, he needs to be my Super Hawk this game. I want him to go off.
And your score?
And my score, 27-24 Hawks.
All right.
Nice.
So beating the expected points by 10, right? So 27-24 Hawks.
Very
Okay.
nice.
How about you, Clinton?
Yeah, I'm gonna really throw this penny down the Goonies well here and really make a wish here, man. So and it's what the heart wants. But it just goes into what we were just talking about. Like, if they're gonna play the game and try and take away our 2 studs, we need that other hero to step up. So can we get the D Eskridge, improvement game here? Can we? And I'll frame that 4 or more receptions. How about this? I'll even go a little further. 4 or more receptions, 2 of which for first downs. At least 2 of which for first downs. I won't go too greedy and ask for the 6, but I might. All right, but that's my wish. Final score. I think we win. I think we beat this team. Like, I sincerely think we're going to win. I think it's close, 23-18. The 18 comes in the fact that the Chargers do lots of dumb things. The Chargers will not take field goals, go for 2. They do stuff. They do weird stuff at different times.
Backup kicker.
It's hard to get 18.
Yeah, backup
It's hard to
kicker.
get 18.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard, but if someone can, it's the Chargers, because they just they make weird decisions that I do not agree with. They forfeit points that I do not like forfeiting. Let them forfeit them. Let them get into weird scenarios. 23-18. Our Seahawks go to 4-3, and we retain at least a share of the division, which would be nice.
Very nice. I wonder if Brandon was here, if we'd have 2 picks for the Hawk win. That's what I kind of wondered, but I guess we'll have to
Does
ask
he
him.
ever pick against the Hawks on your show, Phil?
Yeah, he's won
Yes.
twice by doing that.
Yeah.
He is fired. He is fired.
He's
I
twice.
think we all know who my do better is this week.
The reason
No, absolutely not. He's breaking his own freaking rule.
It's not the pick'em league, It's not.
No, this is in life. Clinton.
this is different.
This doesn't just go to the pick'em league. Like, this is in life.
So
don't
you
pick
thought on
against-
this show you had to pick the Seahawks? Is that what you were under?
No,
the
not
impression
on
of?
the show. In
Okay.
life, everywhere. If somebody asks you on a Thursday when you're brushing your teeth if the Hawks are going to win this weekend, you say yes. You say yes.
Okay, very good. All right, gentlemen. What if lightning strikes twice and our defense is actually good 2 weeks in a row? Is there anything else to add?
Nothing.
Okay, so what if we say go Hawks?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.